Welcome back to Sage Connections. Today's episode is a little special. It was originally recorded as an Instagram Live back in July, and I'm excited to bring it to you here on the podcast so even more of you can benefit from this conversation. Today, we're diving into the fascinating and often misunderstood modality, access bars. My guest is Natalie Turner, a passionate practitioner who helps people release limiting beliefs, ease stress, and invite more possibility into their lives through this powerful hands-on technique. Whether you're completely new to access bars or curious to deepen your understanding, this conversation will shed light on what it is, how it works, and why so many people describe feeling lighter and more open after a session. Enjoy.
Tell us a little more about yourself.
I'm located in Minneapolis, Minnesota. But what I'm talking about today, this is available everywhere. I'm pretty sure there's practitioners, access bars practitioners in every country, almost every country around the world. But what I am is an access bars facilitator. So that means I can provide access bar session, and I can also teach access bars. So access bars is a body process where we are touching 32 different points on the head. And I thought of, chocolate bars when I first heard the word. It's kind of weird, but basically we say bars because we're touching these kind of mirrored points, and it's like a bar running through your head. And what it does is dissipate the electromagnetic charge of your thoughts and feelings, and helps you come into a state of neutrality, ease, relaxation, deep relaxation. And it's often, I see it as like a fast track into meditation. I, for one, I struggle with turning off my thoughts or just really getting into that deep, relaxing state. And this is a fast track to that. And I think being touched, receiving touch is one of the best ways to be in a state of receptivity, to be open. We don't, especially I feel like in American culture, we don't touch that much. We don't hug, we don't do our side kisses like they do in other countries. And this is a wonderful way to have that neutral, nurturing touch. So it's a very nurturing process. I'm just going to read some stats about research that was done on access bars, and then I can talk more about it and like what a session is like. But in 2015, a neuroscientist, Dr. Jeffrey Fannin, examined the neurological effects of the access bars on 60 participants. So he's by measuring brain waves on people before and after a bars session. And this research revealed similar effects on brain coherence, where 85% of participants indicated an increase in coherence, so both sides of your brain working together. And he discovered that access bars has a positive neurological effect on the recipient, similar to that experienced by advanced meditators. And it produces these results immediately. So the severity of anxiety symptoms were reduced by almost 85% on average. The severity of depression symptoms were reduced by almost 83% on average. And all participants showed an increase in brain coherence. So there's a couple of studies out there where they talk about that, and it's a real thing. It's for anyone and everyone. It can be done on babies. It can be done on elderly. It can be done on people who have pacemakers. That's a question I've gotten before. Like, I have a pacemaker. Is this okay? It's just taking away the charge of these thoughts and feelings that we carry around, and much of that is not ours. So it can be done anywhere and everywhere. I often do it on a massage table or like one of those like anti-gravity chairs. I do it for my 5-year-old before bed, just like a 5-minute session, but sessions typically for adults are between 60 to 90 minutes. And it's just a wonderful process that requires nothing of you. You get to just lay there and receive. And I want to say wake up, but you're not really going to sleep. You're just going into this kind of meditative state, almost like a trance. And you wake up feeling If you came in with an issue, a lot of people will say, I was worried about something, but I can't remember what it was. Just clarity and a lot of peace. So that's kind of the big picture look. And feel free to ask. I feel like I left something out, but let me know if I forgot anything.
Hopefully we can trigger the thought that you feel like you lost. But okay, so just to reiterate, so if I was your patient, and I have been for a little, for a tiny
Have a
bit,
sample. Hmm.
um, so a person walks in and they lay on a table or the anti-gravity chair, and then you're basically just touching parts of their head for about 60 to 90 minutes. And it kind of puts based on now, so do you know which points to apply pressure to based on kind of what they come in with in terms of like what they're worried about? Or is there just a general sequence that is followed every time?
Yeah, so there's, like I said, 32 different points. They each represent a subject. So anything from body, joy, communication, money. And I'm usually touching all the different points, but sometimes I'm just intuitively feeling like I need to stay on joy and money or whatever. I need to stay here a little longer, so then I will. So I honor whatever I'm receiving from their body and the messages I'm getting. But there is a sequence. It doesn't have to be in a particular order, but I tend to follow an order unless I feel compelled to not. And yeah, each of the points represent a subject, and the person who created this and received I guess you call it like a download about this, and he found that a lot of the points align with the meridian system, what you'd see in like Eastern medicine. A lot of the points align with the same meaning of those. And let's see if there was another thing. So I start with an energy pull. So I'm touching the third eye and the occiput, and I'm pulling energy to get the energy flowing, and then I work at the base of the feet briefly. But for the most part, I'm focused just on the head. And I try not to say too much at the beginning of a session. I just ask people to think about something that's been really bothering them so we can bring up that thought and then take away the charge from it. Because when you take away the charge from it, you have easier access to the solution if there is one. It's hard to find the solution to a problem if you're just focused on the problem.
Yeah.
So that's something I make a point of, is for people to consider and bring up whatever's bothering them. Another thing I don't do is I don't play music. I think like with massage, you often will have music playing in the background, but music puts you in a lull, relaxed state. And what we want to do is we want to bring up all the thoughts and feelings that have a charge so we can dissipate them. So I don't play music while I'm doing that. And yeah, I think that's kind of how it lasts, how it looks. And then people, when at the end of a session, people are kind of like, they just look empty. I don't know how else to describe it, but it's like they're just like, what
Unbur.
what happened? And
Yeah.
like, are you there? Are you with us? And I think that's such a relief for people because they come in like very charged and anxious. And I have one client that I work with on a regular basis, and she um, was certain that I could not get her to relax. And this was the only thing she said that has helped her go into a meditative state, because she struggles with insomnia. So that's another thing. I'm a chronic light sleeper. I've struggled with insomnia my whole life. And this is the one thing that helps me relax and sleep better. So insomnia is a big thing that people have mentioned as getting help with. Also being, um, they're more relaxed, but they're also more productive. So a lot of feedback I get is I was able to get through all my chores. I was avoiding all these things. And then after our session, I felt like I just got through everything within an hour, and it was so much easier. And so just a lot of ease. I feel like doing this kind of body process makes everything easier.
So let me ask you this. Um, is there a different sort of prognosis for this feeling for treating chronic thoughts versus something that's acute? So if somebody has been struggling with, like as a pelvic floor PT, I see a lot of people struggling right now, to get pregnant or something like that, or even just
Hmm.
fears around that. Um, So would you say that somebody that's always been scared or let's say they've been through this like IVF process and they've
Hmm.
gone through IUI a million times and they're like but they're perseverating, their thoughts are perseverating over this, like I just want a baby, 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 and they like can't sort of almost like get out of their own way and relax. Not that, that's the only thing that they need to do to like have a baby, but a lot of the time, how many stories do you hear where people just give up, or decide to look into adoption or surrogacy or something else, and then they are able to get pregnant naturally because the stress of that specific situation like almost like shifts and they're able to let go. So
Yeah.
somebody has like, let's say, thinking about this, trying to get pregnant for 5 years, do they have different outcomes or different treatments than somebody who, let's say, is going through a stressful move, or has something like very temporary come up, but it's still a very stressful thing, but it's very acute and solvable, hopefully in a short period of time.
Hmm. Well, it does, and as the studies show, the results are immediate. There's immediate relaxation, immediate sense of neutrality, and just like with PT or any other form of exercise or anything, you you have to do it on a regular basis. You have to keep doing it. It's not like a one and done sort of thing. So I think it does provide immediate relief and results. And what I have found with getting regular bar sessions, more of me gets to come to the surface. Um, I think those bigger topics like trying to get pregnant, move into a new career, those really life-changing choices you make. Stress, I think you could find any research that shows that stress will not help it. So just eliminating stress is, I think, a huge part of it. And then when you aren't stressed, when you are in a state of relaxation and neutrality, if there is another issue that's involved, you would be able to see it more. You'd be able to clock it quicker because you're not stressed, you're not obsessing. And you, so I think ultimately you want more of you to come to the surface and you want to release all of that stuff that isn't you and to have that clarity and ease. And multiple sessions, they do really build. There's a momentum that's built and they build on themselves. So I find it just, it infiltrates your whole life. And it's with the thing with awareness is that it's subtle, and I ask people after a session to just notice what they're noticing. So it might not be this like huge life-changing really clear strong signal or result you'll see maybe in the first session, but it requires you to be more present and noticing that, oh, it was a lot easier for me to fall asleep last night, or that interaction I had with my mom, that felt a lot easier and I don't feel anxious right now. So whatever you notice you get more of, and whatever you focus on you get more of. So I think that's part of it, is taking responsibility for being more aware of how your life is different and is changing. Um, so I don't know if I kind of went off, but I don't know if I answered your question.
Well, I think, uh, so for one thing, I love that you keep using the term neutrality, right, regarding a specific subject. So it's not like you just, you know, like that old sage advice of it'll happen when you least expect it. Like you just have to stop wanting it so bad. Like that is
Right.
not helpful ever
Right.
to anybody.
Big time. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And but so what you're saying, I think, is that this helps you not so much give up on the desire. The desire is desire, you have it, but it takes the charge, that desperation, that all-encompassing need for a specific outcome, and it lets you kind of uh, maybe pare down like what the overall desire is, or what sort of feeling you truly want. And I think we all strive for um, a sense of ease and calm and
Mm.
um, optimism. And I think a lot of times we kind of get into this loop of like, if something hasn't happened for a long time, let's say you're like, oh, it's never going to happen. I'm doing everything I can. I've already done a million things, and or like, why does this stuff keep happening? We tend to kind of fall into sometimes negative patterns. Sounds like with access bars, there's a potential for kind of releasing the negative a spiral of that kind of stuff to put you in a neutral zone where you can move forward towards the positive. Because I think we really gravitate towards the negative. I think it's sort of a very human thing to
Mhm.
attach to the negative thoughts. Uh,
Right. Yeah, because we feel like it's like a an insurance policy,
yeah,
like if I call it before, then it won't hurt as bad. Or but what a tool like access bars can do, it helps you to be in allowance. And when you're in allowance, you you go in with an intention, like what's the energy you're going for? Like how would you like your life and living to feel? Then when you're just focused on that, you can be open to it coming in however it comes in. It doesn't i I have to have this many kids, we have to live in this sort of home, and I have to have this kind of job. It's just like I would like to feel this way in my work. I want my home life to feel like this. Then you get out of black and white, right and wrong kind of thinking, and you just allow for the infinite possibilities to show up. Because hate to break it to you, like we have great imaginations, but we also operate in kind of like, if you're in like a gymnasium, it's like this track you're going around and you're moving, but you're not going very far. So if you think about it, like you want to be in this open field and you want to move in this open field, um, you have to be present, and that's just how it works. And then from there, you do get what your heart desires. And a lot of the times when you just let it come in as it comes in, it ends up being exactly what you want. It's the energy of what you want. So this tool has helped me be more present with what is, and not try to control how it comes in and how it looks. Um, so it's like a combination of trusting, and like you do have to have an intention. It's okay to want children or to live in a certain place, but just to know that when you stay in openness and being like a rock in a stream and just allowing things to come, it can't miss you. And it feels better for me when I think about it, like what's the energy of what I'm looking for versus like being so specific that it puts horse blinders on you. And I think this is anytime, any tool that helps you be more of yourself, which is, we're infinite beings, is what I'm aware of, is that we are infinite beings. And anything that keeps you in that awareness, um, and keeps you in question rather than conclusion, you should go towards that tool. Go towards people who help you stay in question and get out of conclusions and black and white thinking. And I just keep coming back to that word, neutrality in relaxation. I think that just everything, all your choices and should be made from that place.
So what kind of practitioners do you collaborate with, if any? I mean, could it be psychotherapy? Could it be, physical therapy? I mean, I definitely
Yeah.
like the scenario that I kind of brought up. I mean, I think that if I don't have, I mean, I have some tools, but I do refer out when I feel like somebody needs um, maybe a slightly different viewpoint or modality to help them progress more in my space with what I do. So
Hmm.
I,
Yeah.
yeah, like for somebody that's stuck either in their pain, that's a big thing too.
Yep.
Some people get stuck in their pain loop, and we have, sort of physiological reasons for why that neural pathway solidifies over long periods of time with, chronic pain. Um, but yeah, a lot of the time, once it's past, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 10 years, that pain, as much as people want to get rid of it, it becomes almost this love-hate relationship with
Yeah.
a friend that, like, you ask them, okay, what would happen if tomorrow you wake up and you don't have any more pain, or whatever symptom it is that they're coming for? And someone will say, like, oh, that would be amazing. I can't, but the reality is, I don't know if they would recognize their life, because they've sort of built their life around that. And so it would be nice to have a modality like yours to maybe, good or bad, but to put neutrality behind that, to take the charge out of that pain, to take,
Yeah.
it's like I always say, like, that pain has its leash around you. You got to put the leash around the pain.
Yeah.
And you do that by, like, I give people tools to do that, right? Like, I give them exercises, I give them breathing techniques, um, whatever. There's a lot of things. And I do that so that they have agency over their own outcomes, so that they're not, like, dependent on always going to a million practitioners, because that's what they've done and it hasn't worked. They're looking for sort of a passive way out of a
Yep.
situation. But when you give them the tools, and you have something like what you do, which puts a little bit more neutrality to the subject, so it's not charged, and it's not like one way or the other, right? Like, I think there's this mix of, you're trying to take away my friend, and I don't want you to, but I really want
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Right. That's where people have this kind of alignment and agreement with things that are causing them pain. And I think, well, first I want to name that a lot of clients I've had, they have physical sensations that happen where, they've had issues with their throat. Like, I've had a singer where she felt like her throat there was just something going on with her throat. And then she felt a lot of energy moving through that and had much more ease with singing afterwards. Um, just physical, there's a lot of physical sensations happening. I mean, mind, body, it's all connected.
Yeah.
So of course you're going to be experiencing shifts in your body and move, getting energy flowing, because we get stuck. So if you're stuck on whatever the thought is, it can connect to a part of your body, and it's not cognitive. That's the thing people need to know. Everything is energy. And a lot of the things we're doing in these habit patterns we're in, it's not cognitive. And so to stay out of judgment first and foremost for yourself. But yeah, I think when I do these sessions, I'm asking the questions that maybe other doctors or practitioners don't do, which is like, what are you getting out of this? What are you getting out of, being in debt or having this knee pain for the last 5 years? Like, what are you getting out of it? And there's no answer. Like, I'm not asking for an answer. It's just the question can start to dissolve and, like, loosen up something because they haven't ever thought about it in that way. Combined with doing bars where it's taking away the charge, it can really open up a person's world. And so to go into a session with you, it's like, yeah, what else is possible now? And I think that's another part of access bars, and it's under the umbrella of access consciousness, which is an empowerment modality. And they ask really, really empowering questions and bring you back to your knowing and get you out of trying to align and agree with things and making things right or wrong. Because sometimes I think most of it is having someone from the outside ask you a question, not out of judgment, truly being in the question and helping you come back to the infinite being that you are, come back to your knowing, so you can make a new choice. Because it is all choice, and it doesn't feel like it when you're in pain. I understand that, especially physical pain. It can really feel like it's just structural. There's nothing else going on.
Mhm.
But I find it's all connected always. And so a session would include, if it calls for it, it doesn't always, sometimes I don't say anything, but asking asking questions, and to get you to loosen up the way you've been holding a particular subject, and saying, have you thought about it in this way, and like, what are you getting out of this? And there's so many questions, but yeah, I think that's can be a wonderful supplement to work like PT work.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, well, this has been awesome. I think this is a nice little taste of kind of what Access Bars is, and if people are interested, they should definitely. I'll include kind of your contact in the notes, and they can DM you or they can DM.
Yep.
And do you have any kind of final things that we didn't touch upon that you want to?
Well, I would just say, find, if you can, try it out for yourself. Nothing compares to experience. So if you're in the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul area, please reach out to me. And there's other practitioners as well. And then in your area, you can go to accessconsciousness.com, and there's an Access Bar section, and you can search all around the world. They have practitioners available.
Okay, I have one last question.
Yeah.
Can you do this on yourself, or do you need a practitioner to do it for you?
I mean, it's ideal when it's a practitioner for the full session. I couldn't do a full session on myself, but I have heard from the co-creators of Access Consciousness that they do say there's this point, kind of behind, there's like a ridge behind your ear, and using these three fingers, just hold it there, and it's called the implant band. But if you come to my class, I'll talk more about that. But I just gently press on there, like maybe while I'm watching TV, if I'm feeling particularly charged about something, I just ask the implant band to run, is what you can say. So I don't know, try it out, play around with it and see what you find. But that's about the extent of what I do just on myself.
Awesome. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Luba.
This was awesome. Thank you for joining me. And again, if anyone has any questions, comments, feel free to reach out to either one of us.
Thanks so much.
Thank you so much to Natalie Turner for joining me and sharing her wisdom and perspective on access bars. I hope today's conversation inspires everyone listening to explore new ways of supporting their well-being, releasing limiting patterns, and inviting more ease and possibility into their lives. And as always, thank you for tuning in to Sage Connections. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe, share with a friend, and leave a review. It helps us grow this community and reach more people with these important conversations. Take care of your health and your wellness.